Hello, welcome back for the second video of the day on business and market segment. So in this video, I'll be focusing on the news relating to India's economic revival mission and our country's forex reserves. The last video, I just mentioned about the factors which are on an ongoing basis. I'll be tracking on the positive news about the Indian economic recovery story. So September has been a very good month for the Indian economy per se, and then because there has been a holistic improvement in several indicators, so we'll be looking after the data points in this video. So starting with GST collections. So when the unlockdown started in June, the GST collection was close to 91,000 crore rupees, which is equivalent to the average GST collection for the previous year. So this has been a significant news because not only we have just went into unlockdown phase from the COVID lockdown, but in the first month itself we were able to clock the previous year's average figure, even though last year per se was not a great year for the Indian economy. But in subsequent months, June and July and August, there has been a slippage in the GST collection to the tune of 87.5 to 87,000 crore rupees in June and July and August respectively. But there's been a good recovery in September. GST collection stood at 95,500 crore rupees, which is very significant. But but I would like to wait for the consistency in the next few months. So in the next 3 to 6 months, I would like to that Indian economy has to clock a GST collection of 1.1 lakh per annum, 1.1 lakh crore rupees per month. So that should be the target we should be aiming at. The other figures include the revenues from the import of goods, which has gone up by 102%. If you add the domestic contributors as well, it has gone up by 105% vis-a-vis last year, which is very significant. And coming to exports, that's been a good news. Fortunately, the export in September 2020 is more than the export for the same period last year. Because one thing is this is very significant because most of the globe is not out of COVID yet, but still we were able to show a 5.27% improvement in export is huge, in my opinion. The export figure was around $26.02 billion last year this time, and in September 2020 we clocked $27.4 billion, which is more than about $1.5 billion export revenue is quite significant. On the other side, the imports contracted by 19.6 percentile. So the imports were hovering around 30 billion US dollars. So what it means is the trade deficit has gone down to 2.91 billion US dollars. And from a level of more than $11 billion this time last year. So this is very significant. The other data is the purchasing manager index. I spoke about this in the last few videos. So any figure beyond 50 indicate expansion in the activity, and anything less than 50 signify contraction. So in COVID times, in April, this PMI index for manufacturing was around 25. And it went up to 30 in the month of plus in May, and then subsequently to 44, 47 in June, July. And we started growing or expanding in August itself. So the August PMI index was 52, and which we have further grown in September to 56.8. How significant the growth is that this is the fastest growth in the last 8 years, so which is very huge. So here also let us wait for consistency. And then moving on to other significant factors or auto sales. The auto sales, the car sales have improved 13%, and tractor sales, which is synonymous with the farm or agriculture growth, rural demand, in other words, is gone up by 18%. So this is very significant figures, but I would like to wait for the next 3 to 6 months, because we are nearing the festival season, and obviously the dealership will stock more prior to the festival season. So these, excuse me, I'm running sore throat, please bear with me. These figures basically signify the sales of the company to the dealership, not necessarily translate into the purchase of cars or tractors per se, but nevertheless these are key factors in the sense. Let us move on to freight income. I've been talking about how well drivers have been performing in the last few weeks, in the last few weeks videos, because just to draw a parallel, suppose somebody is not employed, the smart guys will look for other avenues of generating income. So railways also did the same thing, because in the last 6 months to 7 months there has been absolutely no volume or revenue from commuter traffic, which has started gaining only from 7th September when the metros were thrown for public use. And beside that, their only revenue is freight income, and they have basically invented different ways of enhancing, many to different avenues to enhance the freight income. So what is significant is in the pre-COVID lockdown phase, railways have clocked 9.9 thousand crore rupees as freight volume in September 2020, whereas in a normal scenario last year this time, our income for railways through freight was around 8.7%. So 8.7 thousand crores, which is which translate into 13.54% incremental growth, which is quite significant. I'm quite bullish. I think in the last in the next 2 months to years, this volume freight or business volume will only multiply, which will translate into bigger huge revenue for railways. So then coming to the next indicator is e-way bills. So e-way bills is a very good measure not only on interstate movement of goods, but also the economic activity. So in July, the e-way bills, which number of e-way bills were around 4.83 crores, which have gone up to 5.74 crores, almost 90 lakh more e-way bills generated in the span of 2 months, which is significant. More significant is on the last day of September, on 30th September, it's a single day highest volume clock to the, so 26.2 lakh e-way bills have been generated. So the other significant indicator is on the petroleum demand, which I spoke in the last week also. In petroleum refining utilization, basically we talk about the company's refining activity. So has gone up to 80% vis-a-vis 60% in the pre-COVID feed. One specific company at HPCL, so basically informed yesterday that they are clocking at 1 or 2% of their utilization levels, which is more than what optimal utilization, which is very significant. So these are all very good news and on different aspects as far as the measure of the economic recovery. But let us pay the devil's advocate. Let us wait for another 3 months to conclusively say that we are basically on the recovery path is well and truly on. Moving on to forex reserve. Our forex reserves has been very good, and it has seen the historical high of 545 billion US dollars on 18th of September 2020, and in fact in the last few months we have already started having half a trillion forex reserves, so which is a very good news. But for the week ending ended 25th September, the data RBI published last week there has been a contraction to the tune of 3.3 billion US dollars. The major contributor has been on the foreign currency asset. Foreign currency asset is nothing but the quantum of US dollars, other foreign currencies we hold. So when US dollar improves, obviously there will be a contraction because the forex reserves is quoted in US dollar equivalent. So we will be holding reserves in euro, GBP, yen and other currencies. So when US dollar goes up, obviously the value of these forex reserves will come down. So this is a normal factor only. So more than half of the reduction is being on account of this. Other reason is the gold reserves have come down by 1.4441 billion US dollars. So these are all the two major factors why our forex reserves have come down. So there's absolutely no cause of concern here because we have been very well positioned as far as our forex reserves goes. So just to draw analogy, 10 years back or 15 years back, we would have been holding only 25% of what we are holding today. So which is just to give a sense of the forex reserve of our country, because forex reserve for any country is important for two reasons. One is it is a very good tool for RBI to handle exigency situation, very bad scenarios, and also other countries also. We position ourselves as a very healthy economy in the world. Depending on forex reserves, this is also one of the major indicator, if not the only indicator. So this is that's it for our business and market segment for this week. I'll see you soon in my third video for the day, which will focus on the governmental actions which have transpired this week. See you then. Take care.